I told you can't trust these. Now Puffy done kill Tupac, man.
50 Cent went on stage last year and said this.
Maybe I said because you got Tupac.
You know, and I know, that everyone believes that Diddy was involved in both these shootings and had a direct involvement in your brother's death. That is what the streets have said for 27 years. That's why 50 Cent said it. That's why Eminem has said similar stuff. Would you be comfortable saying that you believe Diddy had nothing to do with it?
No, I wouldn't be comfortable saying that because I don't know. If you look at all the theories, the theory involving him is quite high on the list.
Ron, any comments? Any comments on the trial so far? Any opening statements?
He's having his day.
He's having his day?
He's having his day. We trust the justice system.
Thank you, sir.
Netflix's newest docuseries takes a fresh and focused look at the life and tragic death of Tupac Shakur. Rather than assigning blame, it explores the intense time period he lived in, the cultural tensions surrounding him, and the long-running public conversations where familiar names have often appeared. By revisiting unanswered questions and placing events back into their full historical context, the series turns a well-known story into a compelling and thoughtful narrative, one that brings renewed clarity and relevance to one of hip-hop's most discussed legacies.
True. Yeah. So we don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist asking. Thank you.
Because you listen, 7 years ago, I'd have been like, yo, did you hire somebody to kill Pac? But no, you do it like a journalist.
Yeah. No, I mean, we wouldn't even get into nonsense like that. You know what I'm saying? It's nonsense.
Which we never believed.
In The Reckoning, the filmmakers carefully trace Sean Diddy Combs' rise to power in hip-hop, focusing on the key decisions that shaped his influence long before recent legal attention. The series also examines his complicated relationship with Tupac Shakur. Tupac's cousin, William Lasseter, describes how that bond slowly fell apart, placing both artists at the heart of the East Coast, West Coast rivalry during its most intense years. Through first-hand voices, the documentary captures the pressure, ambition, and shifting loyalties surrounding two cultural icons. Without forcing conclusions, it revisits the unresolved events leading up to Tupac's 1996 death in Las Vegas, making clear why these questions remain powerful, relevant, and impossible to ignore.
From the former president of Bad Boy, Kirk Burroughs, who alleged during this time, Diddy had him hiring a whole bunch of people and getting cars to drive to Las Vegas. And he is now very curious into why Diddy wanted to do this. And he said, in his opinion, he now believes that Diddy was behind.
William clearly describes the tension between the two artists as strong and long-lasting, shaped by different journeys and growing influence. From his view, he suggests Diddy may have felt pressure as Tupac's popularity and creative freedom increased. He asks viewers to look at the wider situation around the 1994 New York incident, a time filled with confusion, emotion, and disorder, not clear answers. He questions how much anyone truly understood in that moment. Music industry veteran Gene Deal shares a similar view, saying the constant rivalry between the two added pressure to an already unstable period in hip-hop history.
Pop blueprint and changed Biggs and Bad Boy in image. I Get Around, talked about how fly you was, how many girls you mess with, how many cars you drive, how much money you got, what you willing to do. He took his image. Pac was the first one on the scene wearing Versace shirts. He went and got the same Versace shirts Pac had. Which, all right, some dudes would do that. You would never catch me wearing something else, something that somebody else got. He was knocking down all the women that he thought Pac was knocking down. And what I mean is having sex with them. Why would you want to have sex with women you know for sure a dude that was once cool with you
Even years after the headlines faded, the search for answers continues. Tupac's brother, Mopim, has been one of the strongest voices calling for deeper review. He believes the events surrounding Tupac's death were never examined closely enough. Mopim argues for a careful and broad look at that time period, including the environment and the many people connected to it. In his view, only a serious and well-organized effort can bring the story closer to real clarity and a better understanding of what truly happened.
And that you want to see how serious the Vegas PD is going to take this case. Because Keefe D is people that he name dropped that you want to see if they're going to investigate?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm curious to see how they plan to deal with the case, because he, in his own admissions, mentions other people. You know, are they going to say what happened to these people? Yes, Puffy being one of them. I don't know where that's going to lead, but I do believe there were accomplices, and I don't think all of them have been looked at. So you know, because over the years, you know, it's a lot of years, you know, amongst the family, we talk, we want to figure it out too. We thinking certain things too. So, you know, we're waiting to see if we can trust this process. I feel like it's bigger because I haven't heard anything about that part of the story from the prosecutor's office. I haven't heard anything about Puffy from the prosecutor's office, even though Keefe D implicates him on these videos that they claim they're using to indict him. Even you got a Crip affiliate from somewhere, but you still not gonna talk about the guy that he mentions by name on the thing. Yeah, I mean, you know. It's exhausting. You know, or you know, I'm waiting to see how far they go, because that's what everybody's talking about. That's what everybody's talking about. What about Puffy? You know, so it would be weird that the prosecutor's office wouldn't know and address it. That's why I don't know whether to trust this shit.
He later shared that in Tupac's final moments, his brother seemed to be trying to say something important. That moment stayed with him and never faded. It continues to drive his determination to search for clearer answers and a deeper understanding of what really happened.
Because you got so many conflicting stories, right? You got some people that say that, you know, Tupac was moving in the hospital, he was, you know, talking in the hospital, but you being there, from your point of view, how was Tupac conditioned?
By the time I got there, remember I was coming from LA. So by the time I got there, he had tubes in his throat, in his nose, in his mouth. So he ain't talk to me, not verbally. He was conscious. He was trying to talk. He did want to talk, but he didn't actually verbalize any words. I always, you know, that's gonna be one of the biggest mysteries in my life, because he was trying to tell me something. He was trying so hard. He was shaking the bed. He was looking at me, you know, with his big old eyes, you know, and I know he was trying to tell me something, but I don't know.
Something else I want to ask you, because I think it would be appropriate before we get off the Vegas thing, last thing, because I know I did an interview with Napoleon, and they all gave me their reasons why Afeni pulled the plug because of his condition, but I mean, it would be more appropriate since you was his brother. Afeni, her decision to pull the plug on him, from your point of view, what made her pull the plug, respectfully?
Because he had already flatlined a couple of times, and she didn't want him to keep going through that. So I think it was like twice before she, you know, let him go. And that's reasonable. You know what I mean? When I was, you know, when I found out, you know, I could live.
Former Bad Boy executive Kirk Burroughs later said the tension between Tupac and Diddy likely caused more turmoil than he understood at the time. Williams shared a similar view, recalling how their relationship grew strained as Diddy focused on Biggie's rise while Tupac continued on his own path. What once could have been cooperation slowly turned into competition, adding pressure to an already unstable period. That atmosphere surrounded Tupac's 1994 visit to Quad Studios, an event that became one of the most talked about moments in hip-hop history. While Diddy and others were reportedly present in the building, authorities never connected them to the incident, and Diddy has consistently denied any involvement. The series presents these perspectives to show how ambition, rivalry, and unanswered questions helped shape one of the most closely examined eras in music history.
He knew Tupac was going to get robbed at Quad Studios?
Well, I don't think I'm not going to say he knew exactly he was going to get robbed, but he knew he was going to get dealt with. Because he was up there with Andre Harrell, and he was with Jimmy Henchman. And even though I think Pac may have owed Jimmy some money, or he was being disrespectful with Jimmy, and Jimmy ain't the type of dude that you was going to be disrespectful for, because he had some real wolves, and Jimmy was about it himself. You know what I mean? So now, in that essence, Puff is up there in the office with him. They know they about to deal with Pac. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the extent that Jimmy told him what they was going to do to Pac, or he's going to get dealt with or whatever like that. But I know Puff had a whip.
In 2011, Dexter Isaac came forward claiming he was involved in the 1994 Quad Studios incident, saying he acted under direction from someone connected to the music world. His statement added another layer to the long-running mystery, but it has never been confirmed. Like many other claims and recollections over the years, it became part of the ongoing debate surrounding the case. The episode shows how complex and disputed this moment in hip-hop history still remains.
You know that he had another bracelet that was like a bicycle chain with charms on it, right? Couldn't say that, all right? He had the diamond chain on with the chain with diamonds at each length going through it, right? He had a big stone on the diamond ring and a smaller stone, one for $35,000 and the one for $20,000, all right? So even Stretch that did this shit, I took his bracelet too, and changed it and put my man's name on it and took off the name on it. So motherfuckers claiming that this even
so hold on, homie.
Claim that he was Tupac's stepdaddy, wrote me and wanted me to have my people meet him and give him back the chain and shit, talking about some redemption shit. You know, them niggas ain't man.
So hold on, hey Dex. So that day that happened, November 30th, 1994, it wasn't just Tupac and Freddie Nichols. Stretch was with them too?
Stretch was with them too, yeah. Stretch set the whole shit up. He was in cahoots. He was giving us play-by-play where they was at. On their way there, he was in communication with Jimmy and shit. You know, Jimmy promised him two big eggs and shit.
Wow, so he sold Pac out for a quarter brick, basically.
Basically, yeah.
And
Boy too.
Wow.
Jimmy Henchman has strongly denied any role in the Quad Studios incident, saying he had no involvement at all. His denial adds to the many conflicting stories surrounding the event, showing how much of this chapter in hip-hop history is still unclear and widely debated.
There was a big frame picture, photograph on one of your walls, and it had Tupac on it wearing a Henchman Entertainment t-shirt. Now, a few years ago, there was a guy named Dexter Isaac that came forward who claimed that you were connected to the Tupac shooting. Do you have anything to say about that?
No, 100%. I've never ducked from answering any Tupac questions. I could understand if I don't know how Quad Studio morphed into, like I was in Vegas and was part of the shooters that actually ended in his demise. And let me say, me and Tupac were friends, and me and him were friends. I had nothing against Tupac. I liked him. He was younger than me. I'm sure that he looked up to me. There's many moments that me and Pac had that were very intimate, where he's talked to me about things that he was afraid of or things that he loved to do, and all of those kind of things. Here it is, you have a prosecutor and you have a guy who's in jail for life. When they pulled Dexter down to interview him in regards to what he knew about me and Tupac and so on and so forth, I have no doubt at this point that Dexter probably was the guy or one of the assailants on Tupac. But Dexter's story just doesn't make sense. Dexter tells a story that I wanted a ring for my fiance, and so I tell him to get the diamond ring from Tupac so I can give it to my fiance, and so on and so forth. He tells this magical story. The only person that can believe such a story is Todd Kaminsky, who was the prosecutor who was trying to make something out of nothing.
To make it clear, man, when Puffy came to LA, you used to give him protection, right? From the Southside Crips, because he was scared of Suge Knight?
It speaks for itself, my brother. He was playing chess, and I guess we was playing checkers, cuz.
So he was really scared of Suge Knight like that, yo?
That's what it looked. That's what it sounded like, yeah.
Keith D recalled feeling real fear as tensions continued to rise. He said the conflict around Tupac grew even stronger after major songs intensified the rivalry. According to him, the atmosphere at the time was tense and unstable, with conversations shaped by pressure and high stakes. The documentary uses his memories to show how competitive and volatile hip-hop had become, highlighting the fear, rivalry, and unrest surrounding some of its biggest names.
Talk about that?
Yeah, so there's, let's see, Keefe D claims that there is this ongoing conversation. It happens on 3 different occasions, but most specifically when he and Puffy are at this place called Greenblatt's Deli on Sunset. And they're there. Things have spiraled out of control. Puffy's really concerned about, the welfare is his safety, and he tells Keefe D, man, I just need you to take care of this situation with Suge and Tupac. It's out of control. Tupac's on vinyl talking about killing all of our kids when they grow up, and it's just become this really serious conflict. And he says, I just need you to take care of him. And Keefe D's like, that's no problem. That's what we do. And so an agreement was made, according to Keefe D, for an amount of money. And they kind of just let it go at that point in time. But of course, Keefe D knows in the back of his mind, this is what Puffy wants done. And they all end up out in Las Vegas. Suge's out there.
Before you say that, there's a couple things I want to talk about from Vegas. So when you say that Keefe got offered an amount of money, according to him, was there a dollar amount?
Yeah, so there was a dollar amount. But I think that, the nuances of this conversation are that, like, now I'll give you $1 million, whatever it takes. It's like exaggerated speech. But of course, when we interview Keefe D, he's like, yeah, that's the agreed amount, was $1 million.
So according to Keefe, he's claiming that Puffy offered him $1 million to kill Suge or Tupac?
Both. Yeah, both their names came up. And according to Keefe D, he says, Tupac's put himself on the list by all the talking that he was doing. But it was really about Suge because it was Suge's muscle.
Beyond his conflicts with Tupac, Diddy has often been linked to rumors around other major moments in hip-hop, keeping him under constant public attention. The documentary looks at how these stories, whether accurate or not, added to the tension and competition of the time. Together, they helped shape the intense and dramatic atmosphere of hip-hop during the 1990s.
Diddy paid him $1 million to try to take out Tupac and Suge Knight. Investigators early on already zeroed in on Keefe D because he is the uncle of Orlando Anderson, who was the main suspect in Tupac's unaliving. During this time, they believe that Keefe D was also in Vegas, and this is things that we have heard him say over the years in his multiple interviews, and one reason why he's on trial for the unaliving of Tupac. But then investigators really started to get curious when they found out that Keefe D was at the Peterson Museum the night that Biggie was unalived. Back in 1997, at the height of this investigation, police actually raided Keefe D's house for gang activity, and they seized one of the vehicles that were at his house because it matched the Chevy Impala description of the person who drove away after Biggie was unalived.
Keefe D was a shot caller for the Southside Crips and the uncle of Orlando Anderson. It was determined that Keefe D had been in Las Vegas along with his nephew Orlando the night Tupac was shot. Additionally, Keefe D's name had come up in the original Biggie investigation when it was discovered that he was at the party at the Peterson and he had access to a Chevy Impala.
After Tupac was shot, there was rumors on the street that Bad Boy Records owed the Southside Crips $1 million.
After seizing Keefe D's vehicle and raiding his house for gang activity, this is when investigators would first try to question Keefe D if he had any involvement in Biggie's unaliving. And at this point in time, he really didn't talk, and he told them that they were...
Kirk Burroughs recalled the unusual details surrounding the night Tupac was shot, including how the group traveled separately to the Mike Tyson fight, adding confusion to an already chaotic situation. This series also shares Kef D's account of what happened afterward, while noting that Diddy has consistently denied any involvement and was never named a suspect by Las Vegas authorities. Beyond that single night, the documentary looks at the long-standing tension and rivalry between Tupac and Diddy, showing how ambition, conflict, and constant attention shaped an era of hip-hop that remains debated even decades later.
Similar story to what I heard from somebody that I know is not, I know she's not lying because she had no reason to lie. First, she told me she saw somebody doing something to him, and she walked in and she thought, he didn't, he never said nothing. He didn't even acknowledge her. So she's thinking she's under the radar. Next thing, she's hanging out in Miami, and, she comes back and says she don't know what happened, and she woke up, and so,
What did she say she saw?
Someone giving him head. That's as far as I'll go, and then you could do the math.
Were they famous? Did she say they were famous?
Oh, no, they wasn't famous. They was an assistant working with her. Yeah. So.
An assistant. I want to guess, but I'm not.
She didn't tell me who no, it's not somebody that you would know. It was somebody that, she came there. She worked doing photography and, some type of media work where they shot ads and things like that. They were there to work, and she walked in the wrong bathroom and caught the wrong thing.
Oh, wow.
So, she got drugged. It probably was some videotapes made to tell her to shut the hell up and don't repeat what she...
But Tupac's death is only one part of the story. The documentary also looks closely at Diddy's relationship with Biggie, questioning how clear and genuine it truly was. Friends and insiders suggest the reality was much more complex than what the public saw, shaped by a mix of loyalty, ambition, and tension. Together, these factors defined one of the most talked about partnerships in hip-hop history.